All right. So thank you, Razak. That was very inspirational. The story you told, the story of growth, and from a humble start to a great position, and hopefully you are going to do even better. How did I get into today's case? Where's Dolapo? Yes. So Dolapo was the one, and I think Razak alluded to this, was the one who first told me about the Cowrywise billboard, which I checked out. The billboard with just a URL. And I was wondering, I was also one of those initially thinking, isn't this stupid? But thinking about this, there must be something unique, something interesting, something innovative that Cowrywise has behind it. And I can tell you that the experience of this case in partnership with Cowrywise has been one of the most enriching case writing experiences I've ever had. At the beginning, we thought we would just do a paper-based case, but as we discussed further, we saw that there was a great opportunity to transform the case into a multimedia case so that it could have a wider reach, the impact could be better, a lot more people, not just in Nigeria, but Africa, could learn about it. And so we're so happy to launch the case today. So are you ready to look at the case? Are you ready? So this is going to be like a trailer. I know Nigerians like to get everything for free. But we will give you enough to hopefully get you excited about this case. If you notice, wealth means different things to different people in Nigeria. And that makes wealth management more exciting, but also more challenging to do. So you can imagine the context in which Cowrywise has had to start and to grow. I'm going to share with you a little video from the case, just to give you some insights about how Razak tells the story of growth, which is really interesting to see the kinds of obstacles they had to overcome, and we'll build the story from there. Sorry.
For the first couple of years of Cowrywise, the story of our growth can be analogous to the initial takeoff of an aircraft. That requires a lot of energy, a lot of power. We wanted to grow against the backdrops of many factors. Factors such as low trust environment, so there are a lot of frictions. And coupled with the fact that, of course, we didn't have a lot of customers to support the brand equity at that point. So we had to hack different growth strategies that enabled us to consolidate on the trust that we wanted from our customers by ensuring that the product works the way it should work, and by ensuring that the product delivers the value propositions to the customers. And from our experience, that's probably the most important tool to hack growth at the early stage of a company. Making sure that the end customers get satisfied in terms of the experience they derive from using the product. So at the early stage, we're fighting against key frictions: no trust, no customer base, lack of awareness of the brand, and against all odds, we're able to reach 1 million. And that's the more reason why we believe strongly that our next 1 million will be different in the way we acquire them, because we've been able to consistently deliver on the brand promise of the product. We've been able to win the trust of customers. So going forward,
there's a lot more, but you get to find out. So, from what Razak was saying in the video, what were some of the obstacles you heard that affected growth? Getting the first million. Low trust, low brand equity, small customer base, market resistance, okay? And these are challenges that we all see playing out. Yet, Cowrywise was able to secure its first million. But if you listen carefully to the video, there was something that Razak mentioned at the end, which was how the first million was acquired may not be the same way the next million would be acquired. Also, how the first million behaves may not be the same way as how the next million behaves, because consumer dynamics keep changing. So the average, let me see if you remember when Razak said it. What is the average age of the Cowrywise customer? 27. Very good. Average means it may be a bit more or a bit less, right? Okay, very good. Now, we did some work at the stage of preparing this case, and we came up with Kemi. How old is Kemi? 31. She's a mother, chef, and travel agent. How would you place Kemi? Is she a middle class retail customer or a high-end retail customer? What do you think? Middle? Okay, you think so? Should I give you more information? She's a tech guru. You change your opinion. She's still middle class. Okay, you think she's higher now. What is she now? She's what? Upper. She's a fast spender. What does that tell you? No? She's a party planner. She has what? Go ahead. Growing sources of income. So maybe we should throw out this typology we're using and say she's a hustler. How about that? Does that sound better? In fact, she's a mega hustler. How do mega hustlers behave? Sorry? Use your mic. There's something interesting you want to say.
Varying sources of income.
Varying sources, multiple streams of income, right? So you're likely to see different, a bit of unpredictability in the way that she behaves. Interestingly, the likes of Kemi, who may form the next 1 million, have certain things that distinguish them. That trust problem is still there. The trust problem is still there. Do you agree? Trust issue is still there. Financial literacy is also going to be an issue, and it's very interesting to see how Cowrywise, through the campus ambassadorship, has been building that. The way the retail customer feels about customer service is also important. You know, you will see somebody that wants the service quality of a private jet, but the money they have in their pockets can buy them a bicycle. Can you relate to that? Yeah. A lot of people, the service appetite is very high, even though what people have in their pockets is low. And if you're not able to meet up with that level of quality, it becomes a problem. Now, when you ask these guys about savings and investment products, what is top priority to them? Number one, trust. Number two, ease of access and withdrawal. They want to be able to withdraw when they need their money. They want the barriers to entry to be low, and they want flexibility and simplicity. So these are key things that we see that the retail customer wants. Or should we say the next million that Cowrywise may be thinking of acquiring. So the question is, how do you select the right classification for your next million? How do you segment? I think this is an important issue in the case. How to segment, how to classify. And there are two options in the case that Cowrywise is considering. One option is the one-stop shop option, which is Cowrywise partners with MTN, GT Bank, maybe some insurance company, and then they offer Cowrywise product alongside these other products so that what is called simultaneous consumption happens. The other option is to continue along the same trajectory they've been on, which is create different products for different segments. So, for example, the halal product is for the Muslim segment. The money dual product is for the couples. You mentioned one that is going to launch, just been launched. Next, exactly, kiddies. Okay, so you can see a different segmentation approach. Now the question is, if you want to get the next million retail customers, which of these two is the best to use that will secure a larger share? Should you do one of these? Should you blend both? This is a critical, contentious issue in the case. And I'm going to poll you to know what your position is on this matter. We're going to vote, and then you're going to tell us which one you think they should do. Should they be a one-stop shop? Or should they continue along the line of single products? Or should they even do both? Or should they do none of them? So let's take some votes, and we will see which vote emerges to be the highest. You just scan the barcode, and then we'll move from there. Okay. Yeah, it seems like, all right, the picture is changing now. All right. A lot of people seem to be saying that they should do both, should blend both. While some are saying, use the embedded products option. And then a few are saying single products. Okay, is the vote going to change? How many people have voted so far? 43, okay, so that's a significant share. Okay, we have an idea of what you think. Can somebody tell us why they think we should do both? Anybody? Let me just take one comment. Yes, go ahead.
The reason why I said that people have different people with different behavior. Because you are not dealing with
Exactly.
different thinking, ideology. That's the reason why.
Okay. Any other idea? So you are saying that even in the retail customer base, you have to segment within that segment and classify people according to their different needs. Okay. And so rather than use one approach, it's better to combine. That's your view, right? Okay. Any other view before we move on? Those who are saying, anybody saying we should stick only with the one-stop shop option? Anybody wants to give a reason why?
I think that they should go with embedded products because the objective is 1 million retail customers. I mean, if you partner with Momo, you can get that overnight. The question is how much value would you get from those customers, even if they are 1 million? Thank you.
Very good. Okay, because as Razak mentions in the case, MTN alone has over 70 million customers, right? So there's a trade-off in this conversation, back to the slide, that we need to look at when it comes to segmenting. And that's the trade-off regarding scale versus control. How much do you want to scale versus how much you want to control? How much brand ownership do you want to have versus being in an ecosystem of brands? How much reach do you want to have? And what is the what's the risk of partnering with others as opposed to doing it alone? These are some of the issues. But again, one interesting thing we see from a discussion in the case is that you cannot segment the usual way when you are in a situation as similar as Cowrywise. It calls for innovation. It calls for a smart way of segmenting beyond just demographic information and so on and so forth. Because the Nigerian customer, especially the retail customer, is a moving target. Today they are here, tomorrow they are there. They are very brand disloyal. So you can't use the conventional way to do that. So 3 things that I think to watch when you get your copy of the case that I think are unique and interesting that can help you as businesses. 1, I think this case introduces a different way of doing market segmentation from the conventional way. When you look at how Cowrywise is approaching its next million, there are a lot of interesting and creative ideas about segmenting differently, which is classifying your customers differently so that you have them for the sustainable future. The second area that is very interesting is about positioning. Positioning is what makes you different, what stands you out. A lot of people, and we did some work recently that we published, we showed out. The banking, okay, let me just say financial services industry is where a lot of the marketing spend goes to in Nigeria. But it's interesting that the lowest positioning recall rate is in that sector. So only 2 out of 10 customers remember any message or any campaign and link it back to the brands that made those marketing spends. So that's really interesting that it seems there is a mismatch between how the customer sees the brand and how the brand is portraying itself to the rest. So this case is an interesting opportunity to think about positioning differently. Positioning is not just about you, it's also about the consumer and about your partners, especially if you are going the partnership route. How do you position, how do you tell your story in a way that is a win-win for you and your partners alike? It's interesting. And the final aspect, which is very interesting in this case, is about channel management. What kind of sales force team, what kind of sales team will manage your next million between virtual and physical, right? So what would be the right blend? How do you integrate a virtual team with an in-person sales team? Is a very interesting conversation to have, and this case gives some ideas on that. There's more, but I've highlighted these 3. So I'll just end by telling you that the ball is in your court. Get your copy. Thank you.